Sharing. Now, where are we? I think we... Yeah, no. I was reading at the beginning, maybe towards the... I'm not exactly sure where I stopped last time because I was, you know, yeah, we started in part 2. Yeah, I was reading here somewhere. Yeah, when they have started to, I think, to be in the journey, how you know, he was maybe amazed how you know, they went into this little excursion to the castle and everything. Of course, I've seen this, you know, we've read this last time, I'm sure, these pages, yeah. We've read that. And really, I think I was reading here somewhere, let me see, when they actually, yeah, here on this page, I was here, I think, on this page 2021. Yeah, I think I was here. I don't know, maybe I was. When they were speaking here, remember they were in the, as I said, in this visit to this castle, to the Chillon area, the Chillon castle. And there, of course, as we know, the conversation went on and on between them. And I think to some extent, you think that there is really a good, absolutely loving relationship developing and getting, you know, into the right, if you like, track. But of course, you know, we could see, of course, all the time the contrasts between really, or the differences between him and her. Notice here, I think at the end of this, when Mrs. Miller's observations were marked by no logical consistency. For anything she wanted to say, she was sure to find a pretext. She found a great many in the tortuous passages and rugged embrasures of the place for asking her young man sudden questions about himself, his family, his previous history, his tastes, his habits, his designs, and for supplying information and corresponding points in her own situation. Yeah, I mean, I think you can see here, of course, this passage, the narrator is saying that Daisy here is absolutely straightforward. You know, she's asking him all these questions. Maybe for people, these are personal questions and should not be asked. But as we know, Daisy is normal and not really, you know, if you like, having any problems of being involved or easily or spontaneously or simply or, you know, talking naturally to him, because that's his nature. Her nature is to be spontaneous and friendly. And so she's asking all these questions. And she has reasons for that, of course, because she wants to know him. And, you know, we think that there is a love relationship developing between them. So, yeah, the narrator here, she's asking him all these questions, maybe say sudden questions, maybe sudden, but to her, they were not sudden. You know, she was normal and natural. Maybe to it, you know, she was so much forward. Yeah, could be saying forward, maybe open. Maybe some people may not ask all these questions, you know, about family, history, you know, his taste, his habits, his design, blah, 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 you know, because she wants to talk, you know, she wants to talk, and she's a friend. And as we know, maybe step by step, you know, she's growing to like him. And, you know, this is really the natural thing. And of course, he himself, you know, felt the same. In fact, he felt even more, you know, because he wanted really to maybe love her and marry her, you know. But of course, as we said, this is the natural thing that the novel is developing, you know, for example, at the end, developing towards this conclusion that we think that Daisy and Winterburn are going to be married at the end, because this is the natural sort of, you know, lovely kind of relationship growing between them. But as I said, this is, you know, the whole tragedy is that Mr. Winterburn was always a terrible traditionalist, you know, maybe a reactionarist man. You know, he is a sort of reactionary man, you know, someone who feels he can listen, he should listen to his aunt and to tradition to make him do or behave the way they think. When, you know, he was really, you know, of course, at the end, he was regretful about all that. Well, I hope you know enough, she exclaimed after Winterburn had sketched for her something of the story of the unhappy Bonivard. I never saw a man that knew so much. The history of Bonivard had evidently, as they say, gone into one ear and out of the other. You know, as if to say, we can see here really that the way she is talking and the way, as I said, is absolutely spontaneous and easy to follow in every sense. You know, here again, she was asking him more and more questions. Notice asking him about you know, what kind of people he has in Geneva, where he is staying for all these years and he's working there. Notice, what do you mean now? You are not in business? The young man allowed that he was not in business, but he had engagements which even within a day or two would necessitate his return to Geneva. Oh, bother, she panted. I don't believe it. And she began to talk about something else. But a few moments later, when he was pointing out to her the interesting design of an antique fireplace, she broke out irrelatively. You don't mean to say you are going back to Geneva? It's a melancholy fact that I shall have to report myself there tomorrow. She met it with a vivacity that could only flatter him. Well, Mr. Winterburn, I think you are horrid. You are horrid. Yeah, of course, we understand that. Yeah, when she's saying you are horrid, you know, means you are ugly. Why? Because he's leaving. Yeah, I mean, we know what she means, of course. And as I said, you know, as we said, she is a natural, spontaneous, normal, I think, like any normal young lady. She would say the same. You know, she started to like him, and, you know, she wanted to see him more and more. And when he's saying, I'm leaving tomorrow to Geneva, you know, she's not happy. Again, you know, of course, the narrator went on, oh, don't say that, dreadful things. He quite sincerely pleaded, just at the last, the girl cried, I call it very first. I have half a mind to leave you here and so straight back to the hotel alone. You know, I'm sure, as I said, I'm sure, you know, I tried to explain, you know, Daisy's reactions. As I said, the spontaneous, loving, absolutely caring, spontaneous, natural girl. She starts to like him and she's not happy that he's leaving tomorrow. So she said, I'm going to leave you now and go back to my hotel. Of course, you know, she's saying it in a childish way. And for the next 10 minutes, she did nothing but call him horrid, called him horrid. Poor Winterburn was fairly bewildered. No young lady had as yet done him the honor to be so agitated by the intention of his personal plans. His companions, after this, ceased to pay any attention to the use of curiosities of Chillon on the beauties of the lake. She opened fire on the special charmer in Geneva, whom she appeared to have instantly taken in for granted that he was hurrying back to sea. Yeah, I think I understand her. And I think we understand her, really. I take her side here because, yeah, we know she immediately jumped to the conclusion. So why is he going back to Geneva? Maybe there's something else. Yeah. So he has another woman. You tell me now. So why are you going back so quickly to Geneva tomorrow? Maybe you have something. Yeah. Come on, tell me. How did Miss Miller know of that agent of his fate in Geneva? Winterburn, who denied the existence of such a person, was quite unable to discover, and he was divided between amazement at the rapidity of her induction and amusement at the bitterness of her criticism. You see, here he was really fascinated by her because, yes, there is a woman. Yeah. She caught him. Yes, there is a woman. So now, he was shocked and he was amazed. How did she know? How could she surmise this, So that's why I said the amazement at the rapidity of her induction, the way she immediately guessed. We know, and people say this, this is women instinct. Yeah, maybe you agree or maybe you disagree. I don't know, but I've heard this before. People saying it. Yeah, we have a special kind of feeling that it can tell. She struck him afresh in all this as an extraordinary mixture of innocence and crudity. Yeah, again, he was absolutely fascinated by her. He was really shocked and he really loved her. To be honest, he was completely now in love with her. He said, wow, how can she think and guess like this in such a rapid way? You're saying, you notice the rapidity, always being, very quick to know. And even the narrator said innocence and crude, maybe crude, but she's correct. She knows maybe in her feeling that there's something fishy. Why is he going back so quickly to Geneva? Yeah, so that's why he said she has this extraordinary, really absolute extraordinary feeling that between the way that she's an innocent, yet she knew what's going on, her mind. Does she never allow you more than 3 days at a time? Miss Miller wished ironically to know. Yeah, I think this is a great question. Yeah. Immediately she said, only 3 days she gave you a break? So your woman back in Geneva, did she give you only 3 days? Does she never allow you more than 3 days at a time? At a time? You're imprisoned by your woman back there in Geneva. She does not let you go off her side, only for 3 days. Miss Miller, again, notice ironically, yeah. Doesn't she give you a vacation in summer? There is no one so hard worked, but they can't get leave to go off somewhere at this season. I suppose you stay another day. She will come right after you in the boat. Do wait over till Friday and I will go down to the landing to see her arrive. Yeah, she's amazing. She's mocking him, absolutely mocking him, saying, "You stupid man, are you worried that you want to go back? You think that this? Remember, the whole thing is her own imagination. And the funny thing is, she is right. She is right. She is right. Wow. Yeah, so she's laughing at him. She said, I'm sure if you wait for another 2 days or till Friday, she will be here. She will come and snatch you back, you know, like a baby. Yeah. He began at last even to feel he had been wrong, to be disappointed in the temper in which his young lady had embarked. If he had missed the personal accent was now working, making its appearance. It sounded very distinctly toward the end in her telling him she would stop teasing him if he had promised her solemnly to come down to Rome that winter. Again, you know, again here, of course, remember, she's teasing him. Exactly. She is teasing him. She is teasing him. But of course, she's correct. Yeah, she's right. Absolutely right. She knows, you know. And she said, okay, I will not be very, very angry. If you promise to come back to Rome, if you see me back later in winter in Rome, yeah, I will be okay. You go back to Geneva, but then come back to Rome. We'll see you there. That's not a difficult promise to make, he hastened to acknowledge. My aunt has taken an apartment in Rome from January and has already asked me to come and see her. Again, your aunt. يا أخي حل عنا وأنت وعمتك يا أخي ابعد عني أنت وعمتك. أنت وعمتك. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? In a way, it is. He's saying, yeah, of course I can come to see you in autumn. In winter to Rome, because yeah, I will go there and visit my aunt again. I don't want to come for your aunt, said Daisy. Yeah, I don't want your aunt. I want you, you stupid. I want you just to come for me. Bravo. Yeah, tell him. Come for me, not for your aunt. And this was the only allusion he was ever to hear her make again to his invidious kinswoman. Yeah. He promised her that at any rate he would certainly come. And after this, she forbore from teasing. Winterbourne took a carriage and they drove back to Vevey in the dusk. The girl at his side, her animation a little spent, was now quiet, distractingly passive. In the evening, he mentioned to Mrs. Costello that he had spent the afternoon at Ceylon with Miss Daisy Miller. The Americans of the Courier asked this lady. Yeah, you can see, of course, really here the conclusion is we know Daisy is telling him, come on, man, are you a man? Are you really, a real man, sort of, you can behave like a grown-up man, and to remember he's an older man, and, saying, come on. I want you for me, not to your aunt or anybody, And of course, I think that's the difference. And I think, he should learn a lot from this young lady. And the contrast we shall see here is that his aunt will never let him marry her. Because again, why? Only because Mrs. Costello thinks that these people, the Millers, are below her. They are below her in class. Yeah. And notice how she speaks to him, his aunt. The Americans of the Courier, meaning with that man, their servant. Happily the Courier stayed at home. She went with you alone, all alone. Mrs. Costello sniffed a little at her smelling bottle. Yeah, because she was shocked. She was nearly, you know. And that, she exclaimed, is the little abomination you wanted. Is the little abomination you wanted me to know? What is this? What is that? Please, can you tell me what is this? Is the little, she's notice here, and that is the little abomination you wanted me to know? What's abomination? Hello, my boys, girls. What is abomination? Yeah?
It is something that causes disgust or loathing, like disgusting things.
Yeah, Ghaida. Okay, Ghaida, stay with me. Do you think, who's this abomination she means?
She means Daisy.
And is this fair to say?
No, it's not. She's making, she's mocking her, like, because she's less than her in class. So, yeah.
What a terrible thing to say, this little abomination. هاي المعفنة, هاي whatever you want me to see her? هاي, huh? Is this terrible, ugly woman you want me to see? This wicked, stupid, ugly little woman you want me to see? This little girl you want me to know? You terrible man. What a terrible woman to say that. Poor Daisy. Why would she be called little abomination? Little disgusting. Daisy is never disgusting. Daisy is never disgusting. Daisy is a lovely girl. Daisy is a beautiful girl. Daisy is a lovely, absolutely lovely, fantastic girl. Daisy is not abomination. Mrs. Costello is the abomination itself. Come on, wicked lady, I don't like that. What a terrible thing to say. Ya haram, why? What a shame. How can people say this? How can you say to people dirty thing when they are not? When they are not. You know, this is terrible. Oh, you want me to see this little abomination of yours? This ugly little thing? You want me to see this little ugly, dirty thing? Ya Allah. Ya Allah. Why? Why abomination? Daisy is abomination? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I will never accept that. Yeah. And really this shows, of course, terrible Winterburn. You know, what can he do about it? He should absolutely do what he thinks he should do, you know? And that's the regret we say. And here in chapter 3, as you can see here, Winterburn, who had returned to Geneva the day after his excursion to Ceylon, went to Rome toward the end of January. His aunt had been established there a considerable time, and he had received from her a couple of characteristic letters. So now we come to the time when he came to Rome to see Daisy again. And he received letters from his aunt before coming to Geneva, from Geneva to her. And look, the first letter she sent him. Those people you were so devoted to last summer at Vevey have turned up here, courier and all, she wrote. يا هدول الناس المعفنين اللي اصحابك هدول ليكم هنا في صاروا هنا في no, look up here, courier and all. Yeah, they are all here with their courier, you know, because she hates the way they treat their servant. They think, you know, they treat their servant in a nice way. So that's why Mrs. Costello could never understand the way they treat their servant like a normal man. So here she's mocking the way, you know, these people are back here. She said, you know, out of course, you know, suddenly or maybe by accident, you know, they met. She saw them. She said, oh, those people you were so devoted to last summer. And look at the verb here, so devoted. Yeah, devoted. Yeah, as if to say you loved them so much. Now they are here in Rome, she wrote. They seem to have made several acquaintances, but the courier continues to be the most in time. The young lady, however, is also very intimate with various third-rate Italians. My God, third-rate. ناس من الطبقة الثالثة. You know, I know people maybe say first class, second class, but I don't know. يعني ناس من الطبقة الثالثة يعني مين يعني كيف يعني؟ ها؟ غيدة.
His doctor.
Yeah, what's that? People of the third rate? How many classes? How many classes, Mrs. Costello? How many classes do you think she has in her mind about people? You know?
Maybe there is one additional. Usually there is 3 classes, and she added like it's beyond.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, she's so terrible. She said notice the way she, very intimate. Look at the verb, very intimate. Very intimate? I mean, how? What do you mean very intimate? The word intimate really is only said between man and wife, or your man and your fiancé or your wife or your husband. You be intimate with your own relatives, your own children. You are intimate with your family. How can she say she is intimate? Yani, the word intimate here is meaning really very close, being very close. Again, this is exaggeration. She's lying. She is lying. Mrs. Costello is lying. She is a liar. She is an ugly woman here. And look what she said. Look at the verb she said. With whom she rackets about in a way that makes much talk. Look at the verb rackets. What a funny verb here. You know racket? Again, she's as if to say she's jumping like a wild girl. She is jumping like a wild woman. She's like an, stupid, crazy woman jumping around with any man she meets on the streets, which is not true. Bring me that pretty novel of, she wants to say here, one of those, I think, I've never heard of this novel, by the way, I don't know. She said, Churubeliers, Paul Mier, and don't come later than the 23rd. Yeah, I mean, look at this funny piece of information she sent to her nephew or whoever. That are you coming to Rome? Then you will see these people now. your friends are now here again, and they are really behaving in an ugly way again. Mhm. Our friend would, in the natural course of events, on arriving in Rome, have presently ascertained Miss Miller's address at the American bankers and gone to pay his compliments to Miss Daisy. After what happened at Vevey, I certainly think I may call upon them, he said to Mrs. Costello. So he said, yeah, okay, but still I will go and see them. Of course, his aunt, she will not allow him because she is not happy. If after what happens at Vevey and everywhere you desire to keep up the acquaintance, you are very welcome. Of course, you are not squeamish. A man may know everyone. Men are welcome to the privilege. Yeah, his aunt is mocking him, saying, yeah, you men, you are terrible. You are ugly. You are the kind of people you don't worry about a lot. You don't mind. You, as if to say, you lower yourself many times and you don't care. You know, that's why she said squeamish. You are not squeamish. She means, yeah, you are squeamish in a way to do this, to go and see her. Pray, what is it then that happens here, for instance? Winterburn asked. So he said, come on, my aunt, what's wrong with you? Why are you saying all this? Well, the girl tears about alone with her unmistakably low foreigners. La ilaha illallah. We come back to the same thing. She is associating herself with low people. Again, look at the verb, tears about. You know, this is tear. It's not really means to cry here. Tears about means, again, going and streaking and jumping and flying away and running away and disappearing in many times in many directions with many people who are really, really low society and low foreigners. Foreigners? Who foreigners? We are here in Italy. They are in Rome, for God's sake. They are in Rome. And Daisy is meeting the people of Rome, people in Italy. So you are in Italy and you call Italians foreigners? Foreigners? Why? Well, you are the foreigner, for God's sake. You are Costello, the American wife, the American aunt. You are the foreigner. You are the foreigner, not the Italians. But she knows what she's talking, meaning Americans should not talk to foreigners, meaning to people from Italy who are not Americans. So here again, we see her terrible narrow-mindedness, really narrow-mindedness. Again, she says the same thing. Again, she is lying and she is surmising, really surmising and supposing. Absolutely. And the verb she uses, is to show that as if Daisy has no mind whatsoever. As to what happens further, you must apply elsewhere for information. She said, yeah, well, if you want more information, don't come to me. Ask other people, they will tell you. La ilaha illallah, hasbi Allah alaykum. Hasbi Allah alaykum ya alam. Come on. They are creating stories and stories and stories about poor Daisy. She said, if you want to know more information about your wicked, stupid Daisy, ask other people. She has picked up half a dozen. Astaghfirullah. half a dozen. She has picked up half a dozen of the regular Roman fortune hunters of the inferior sort, and she takes them about to such houses as she may put her nose into. This is terrible. Accusing Daisy of going to meeting so many people. Notice half a dozen. نص دزينة من مين؟ Regular Roman fortune hunters. نص دزينة fortune hunters who, you know, maybe they make friends with you to take your money of the inferior sort, the lower sort of people. And she takes them about to such houses as she may put her nose into. Well, as if she's saying she's going around with so many people, she's going to their houses and to their places, and God knows what. And God knows what's going on there. Of course, the whole thing is not true. When she comes to a party, such a party as she can come to, she brings with her a gentleman with a good deal of manner and a wonderful mustache. You know, with wonderful, she said, wonderful mustache. You know, yeah, Europeans, mostly maybe Greek, Turkish. Yeah, like maybe like we in the Arab, maybe, I don't know, maybe in Syria, Lebanon, maybe mainly Syria, Lebanon, Turkey and Greece and Italian. You know, these Mediterranean people, they always like to grow mustaches. In Syria, we do that, but mainly in one part of Syria, all men must have mustaches. If you don't, because for me, like for example, here I don't have mustaches here. People will be talking about me, say, "Oh, what a shame! Why, you are a man, you should have mustaches." Yeah, but yeah, here she's mocking, you know, the Italian people, their natural, if you like, looks. And where is the mother? Of course, he asked. I have not the least idea. They are very dreadful people. Winterbourne thought them over in these new lights. They are very ignorant, very innocent only, and utterly uncivilized. Depend on it, they are not bad. You know, what a shame. Winterbourne wanted to convince us, and say, come on, maybe you say this, maybe they are ignorant, maybe they are very ignorant, maybe they are innocent, maybe they are uncivilized. Yeah, but they are not bad. يعني حرام عليك يا شيخة. Come on, why do you say all these bad things? They are hopelessly vulgar. Astaghfirullah. Yeah. Mrs. Costello said, whether or no being hopelessly vulgar is being bad is a question for the metaphysicians. She said, I don't care about what other people say, whether they are bad or not, but they are vulgar. They are bad enough to blush for, at any rate. And for this short life, that's quite enough. Well, to her, yeah. To her, she thinks they are absolutely vulgar people, and she's wrong. She is wrong. The news that his little friend the child of nature of the Swiss lakeside was now surrounded by half a dozen wonderful mustaches, checked Winterburn's impulse to go straight away to see her. What a lovely narrative here to say. You know, now Winterburn feeling, my God, my young, beautiful Daisy, she's having around her about 5, 6, 7, 8 people, 8 young men with big mustaches. My God, my Daisy has gone away with all these boys. I lost her. You know, as if to say he went really, really crazy, saying, come on, is this true? He had perhaps not definitely flattered himself that he had made an ineffaceable impression upon her heart. Maybe now he feels not very good, because he thinks that she really loved him. But he was annoyed at hearing of a state of affairs so little in harmony with an image that had lately flitted in and out of his own meditations, the image of a very pretty girl looking out of an old Roman window and asking herself urgently when Mr. Winterburn would arrive. And, you know, you can see here the narrator's own judgment that really he you know, wanted to see her, and he was really unhappy, completely shocked and terrified. But of course, yeah, I mean, there was something there. He met her, and they, you know, Mrs. Miller, of course, you can see here the conversation. Of course, he came to see her. I don't believe any such thing, the girl replied afresh. Winterburn turned with a protesting smile to her mother, but this lady evaded his glasses and, seating herself, fixed her eyes on her son. We have got a bigger place than this, Randolph hereupon broke out. It's all gold. It's all gold on the walls. Mrs. Miller, more of a fatalist apparently than ever, turned uneasily in her chair. I told you if I was to bring you, if I was to bring you, you would say something, she stated, as for the benefit of such the company as might hear it. Again, I told you, Randolph reported again. I tell you, sir, he added jocosely, giving Winterburn a thump on the knee. It's bigger too. As Daisy's conversation with her hostess still occupied her, Winterburn judged it becoming to address a few words to her mother, such as, I hope you have been well since we parted at Vevey. Mrs. Miller now certainly looked at him, at his chin. Not very well, sir, she answered. You know, you can see maybe here, of course, as I said, the narrator using all this about maybe knowing more about the family, if you like, and hear about Mrs. Miller saying something to him, and the way she is telling him about that she is having some problems with her liver, or maybe some, you know, something to do with her health. And that's, for example, really is not important to him, because he wanted to see more of Daisy, you know. Notice here she said something to him about Daisy. Notice, well, we've got to turn the right way sometime, said Mrs. Miller with strained but weak optimism. Winterburn expressed the hope that her daughter at least appreciated the so various interest of Rome, and she declared with some spirit that Daisy was quite carried away. It's on account of the society. The society is splendid. She goes round everywhere. She has made a great number of acquaintances. Of course, she goes round more than I do. I must say they have all been very sweet. They have taken her right in. And then she knows a great many gentlemen. Oh, she thinks there's nothing like Rome. Of course, it's a great deal pleasanter for a younger lady if she knows plenty of gentlemen. Yeah. You see, this is here, of course, the difference between Winterburn and the way he was brought up and the Millers. Here, Mrs. Miller maybe is not completely happy with her daughter to have known so many people, but she's saying fine, because she's saying that Daisy really liked, because Daisy, she said that from the beginning, that she likes society, meaning she likes people. She likes to meet people. You know, what's wrong with that? There are people who like to meet people, you know, many people. And this is Daisy. Daisy would like to see society. And this is what she said. It's on account of the society. That society is splendid. Yeah, she likes here the way people are. She said the society here, the people are nice and friendly. And Daisy likes that, because Daisy is a sociable, absolutely sociable, you know, and she likes socializing. That's her problem, if you think it's a problem. Well, Mr. Winterburn and his aunt and everybody else, they think that's a problem. Especially when we know here, she said, she knows many gentlemen. She knows a great many gentlemen. Oh, she thinks there's nothing like Rome. Of course, it's a great deal pleasanter for a young lady if she knows plenty of gentlemen. I'm saying this is the idea. This is the attitude. For her, it's very normal and okay to know people, even if they are gentlemen. She said, many gentlemen, yeah. What's wrong with that? As long as you are decent and you don't do anything wrong. Of course, that's what really the novel here is saying. By this time, Daisy had turned her attention again to Winterburn, but in quite the same free form. I've been telling Mrs. Walker how mean you were. Remember, this is Mrs. Walker. She later on, we shall see that Mrs. Walker really is again one of those women like Mrs. Costello. She does not like them because she thinks again that they are really very much forward and terrible, you know, people, the way they behave. So yeah, she's saying, yeah, of course here Daisy, in a mocking and joking way, she said, I was saying to Mrs. Walker that you are you know, sort of, when she said how mean you were. Mean? Of course, she really is joking here. She doesn't mean that Winterburn was mean. Winterburn was not mean, you know, but she's laughing here. She's joking. And of course, he asked her, and what is the evidence you have offered? He asked, a trifle disconcerted for all this superior gallantry by her inadequate measure of the zeal of an admirer who who on his way down to Rome had stopped neither at Bologna nor at Florence, simply because of a certain sweet appeal to his fond fancy, not to say to his finest curiosity. He remembered how a cynical compatriot had once told him that American women, the pretty ones, and this give a, if you like, largeness to the axiom, were at once the most exacting in the world and the least endowed with a sense of indebtedness. Why you were awfully mean up at Vevey, Daisy said. You wouldn't do most anything. You wouldn't stay there when I asked you. Yeah, of course, we come back here to her idea that he went back quickly to Geneva. You know, this is her funny excuse. Yeah, you know, really, this is, I know, of course, we know that, again, Daisy is naturally, really, absolutely naturally saying all this against him. Of course, she is joking, and she doesn't mean at all anything bad against him. But as I said, you can see here more and more of this, and the way, you know, he started to know what's going on here in Rome. And later on, of course, he got really step by step. He got angry because she told him about that she now has a friend that she goes out with for so many times. And here, of course, the jealousy began, if you like, and the belief that Winterburn started to really believe that she is maybe engaged to this man, or maybe she loves him, or maybe they are going to get married when there's nothing. And that's the idea. Notice she said, I want to ask you a favor, permission to bring a friend. I shall be happy to see any of your friends, said Mrs. Walker, who turned with a smile to Mrs. Miller. Oh, they are not my friends, cried that lady, squirming in shy reputation. It seems as if they are, it seems as if they didn't take to me. I never spoke to one of them. You see here, of course, innocently, again, Mrs. Miller, she said, yeah, but they don't come to me, or even, you know, they are my daughter's friends, and they come to see her, not to me. It's an intimate friend of mine, Mr. Giovanelli. Here again, Daisy used the word intimate. Means, yeah, a close friend, really very close friend. It's an intimate friend of mine, Mr. Giovanelli, Daisy pursued without a tremor in her young clearness or a shadow on her shining bloom. You know, she said it openly. You know, he's a friend of mine. I knew him. We are going out, for example, together and something like that. We talk and so on, but there's nothing between us. Mrs. Walker had a pause and gave a rapid glance at Winterburn. I shall be glad to see Mr. Giovanelli, she then returned. He has just the finest kind of Italian, Daisy pursued, with the prettiest serenity. He's a great friend of mine and the handsomest man in the world, except Mr. Winterburn. Yeah. Now she's saying it in front of Mr. Burn. She said, yeah, he's the most, you know, the smartest, the best man in the world, except Winterburn. Yeah, meaning Winterburn is better. He knows plenty of Italians, but he wants to know some Americans. It seems as if he was crazy about Americans. He is tremendously bright. He is perfectly lovely. Yeah. Now, I don't know. I mean, for some people, this, what Daisy here is saying, could be explained spontaneously or naturally or normally or whatever. But certainly for her, she's not here for her. She's not a teaser. She is not a flirt. She's not doing it just to annoy Winterburn. No. She is in this way. Maybe for some people say, well, yeah, you should not do that. Yeah, you should not say that. But, you know, officially, she is not engaged to Winterburn. She's not officially engaged to him. He didn't ask her, for example, for marriage or anything. So why should she be faithful to Winterburn when he is not, when he is as yet, he's just a friend like any friend. And here she's showing concern. She's showing respect to Winterburn. She said, Giovanelli is a nice man. He's really a gentleman. He is a handsome man. She said, the handsomest. Maybe here she's exaggerating, maybe. In her own childish way, maybe. But she said, she checked herself and she said, except Mr. Winterburn, meaning I highly think of Mr. Winterburn as my best friend. Yeah. And remember here, as an American, you know, contrasting herself to Italians because she's in Italy, she's here as a tourist and she is interested to meet Italians. Yeah, that's normal because she's here to see people. And she's happy with this Giovanelli because he himself also is fascinated by Americans. So that's why this sort of mutual kind of interest, if there is an interest, if you can call this an interest. And here really Mr. Winterburn, as I said, step by step started to feel jealous of this Giovanelli. You may go back to the hotel, mother, Daisy replied, but I'm just going to walk around. She's going to go, she's going to go it with Mr. Giovanelli, Randolph again said or commented. I'm not going to go it on the Pinocchio. Daisy peacefully smiled, while the way that she condoned those things almost melted Winterburn's heart. Alone, my dear, at this hour, Mrs. Walker asked, you know, as if to say, are you going out at this time? Anyway, step by step, as I said, we feel that Winterburn is going a bit jealous and he doesn't like it. No, notice here, Daisy saying, gracious me, Daisy piped up. I don't want to do anything that's going to affect my health or my character either. There is an easy way to settle in. Her eyes continued to play over Winterburn. This Pinocchio's only 100 yards off. And if Mr. Winterburn were as polite as he pretends he would offer to walk right in with me. Yeah, so here she's inviting Winterburn again to another occasion here to go with her to this little maybe gathering or maybe like a small meeting or a party or something. Notice here was, of course, Winterburn's politeness hastened to proclaim itself, and the girl gave him gracious leave to accompany her. They passed downstairs before her mother, and at the door he saw Mrs. Miller's carriage drawn up with the ornamental courier whose acquaintance he had made at Vevey seated within. Goodbye, Eugenio, Daisy said, or cried, I'm going to take a walk. the distance from the Via Gregoriana to the beautiful garden at the end of the Pinician Hall is in fact rapidly traversed. And here we can see that the way they wanted to go down to go to this place. Notice the way they moved. Notice the way they were walking on his arm, and he wondered what on earth had seen, what on earth had been in Daisy's mind when she proposed to exhibit herself unattended to its appreciation. His own mission, to her sense, was apparently to consign her to the hands of Mr. Giovanelli, but at once annoyed and gratified, he resolved that he would do no such thing. "Why haven't you been to see me?" she meanwhile asked. "You can't get out of that." "I've had the honor of telling you that I've only just stepped out of the train." "You must have stayed in the train a good while after it stopped," she derisively cried. "I suppose you were asleep. You have had time to go to see Mrs. Walker." "I knew Mrs. Walker." "I knew where you knew her. You knew her at Geneva. She told me so." "Well, you knew me at Vevey. That's just as good." We can see in a way, really, Daisy, you can see really in many ways here, how really she is mocking. Well, in a way, she's intelligent to know everything about him and so on. And I think maybe I should stop here because this is, the time is up, and I will stop recording here.